Deep in the dark forest lies a small village that lives in peace and quiet, surrounded by ancient trees and eerie, inexplicable sounds. The villagers say that there is something evil living in that forest, lurking anyone who dares to enter it after sunset. The story revolves around a young girl named Leyla, who lived in that village and was fond of adventures and exploring forbidden places. Despite her family's warnings and the terrifying stories told, her curiosity pushed her to explore the dark forest. One night, after the sun had set and the village was enveloped in complete darkness, Leyla decided to go out on a secret expedition. She carried a powerful flashlight, a small bag containing her necessary supplies, and unrelenting courage. Leyla entered the forest cautiously, and the further she went into the darkness, the more eerie the sounds and the tangled trees became. She felt terror creeping into her heart, but she insisted on continuing her journey. Suddenly, she heard footsteps dancing on the leaves, and her heart began to beat rapidly. Leyla stopped to stare into the darkness, and suddenly, a tall, dark figure appeared from between the trees. Her eyes were glowing red and her face was distorted with evil. A terrifying monster was standing in front of her. Leyla froze in fear, but she did not lose hope. Suddenly, the dark figure began to slowly approach her, and Leyla decided that she would not be an easy victim. She turned on her flashlight strongly and threw it at the monster, and flames began to rise around him. Smoke rose and the trees faded into the darkness. Leyla rushed out of the forest and continued running as fast as she could. But she was not alone, as the monster was pursuing her ferociously. As she approached the outer reaches of the forest, she stopped for a moment and turned to see the beast slowly disappearing into the air like fading smoke. Her flame torch had burned the monster and driven it away. Leyla sighed heavily and regained her breathing. She had overcome the horror experience in the dark forest and miraculously survived. She returned to the village and the sun had already risen, and the village was waking up to a new day. But Leyla did not forget what happened, and she remembered that she was not the first to encounter the monster in the forest. She decided to tell her story to her family and friends, to warn them of the danger of the dark forest and the evil monster that lives in it. Since then, Leyla's village has been telling her story frequently, warning everyone not to enter the dark forest after sunset. From that moment on, no one dared to explore the forest, and the village lived in peace and safety from the horror that hid in its depths.